where would your life be in business? Because we're talking about entrepreneurship. Where would your life be if you could have the same limitless belief system of success that Elon Musk fucking lives with? Because the thing that's holding you back right now is your own fucking belief system of why every time you get in business, you keep doubting your own success. You keep doubting your own desires and where you should be and where you could be. But what if you had the belief system? You're not going to tell me that Elon Musk starts a business as, oh, this is, well, Mom, this ain't going to work because
hopefully we make it. Yeah.
Dude, that it doesn't exist in his head. And I'm just asking you as the viewer, if you had that same concept in business, where would you fucking be right now?
What's going on, y'all? Welcome back to another episode of The Bullpen. Today, I got someone real special for you guys. This guy, what's interesting to say about this guy, I would define him as a true entrepreneur. This guy here today is Andrew Cordle. He's an acclaimed author and international speaker with over $350 million sold from stage alone. You may know him better as the host of The Money Is Show. The Money Is Blank Show, correct?
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
A show where he hosts today's leaders and influencers, authentic business conversations about money. He's interviewed hundreds of experts, including masters in the industry like Kevin O'Leary, Gary Vaynerchuck, and Grant Cardone, and soon the Bull.
Come on.
Andrews also contributes as a partner in a multi-billion-dollar enterprise made up of 23 current companies, one of which is a real estate development with a portfolio of over $1.5 billion. Passionate about the benefits of mentorship in business, he founded Power Room, a CEO mastermind where he's today's top thought leaders combine forces to help each entrepreneur how to achieve success. One thing I want to make sure I add here, he's a huge help and contributor to Operation Underground Railroad and Tim Ballard and everything you help him with. I know me and Tim were talking about that a lot.
Yeah.
Andrew, thanks for coming on, brother.
Yeah, for sure, bro. Happy to be here. Excited to be here.
So I like everyone knows on the bullpen here. This is surface level, right? This is
fluff, bro.
It's all fluff. This is incredible. That's right.
I didn't even write that, dude. Like on our team we have a staff and I didn't even write that. So.
It sounds damn good. But the number one thing we get from this, obviously, you've had a lot of success as an entrepreneur in multiple facets. Because this is talking about your real estate. Yeah. You've had a lot of success as that's what I mean by a pure entrepreneur. Yeah. You've had a lot of success in a lot of different industries, but that doesn't come just from anywhere, right? That doesn't just come from, being in the right place. Like that comes from something deep down. So what I really want to know, I think everyone really wants to know is, what's your story? What was it that made you be this man who you are today?
It's a good question, man. If I go, I will, as I always do, man, I'm going to try to go as authentic and which is a overused word in our fake society, but I will try to give you the most authentic, raw, real answers that I can possibly think of, man. I think entrepreneurs are born, first of all.
Interesting.
I asked that question on my show to CEOs. I interview 3 to 4 CEOs a week that fly into my studio. And I ask it almost to all of them. And there's a mixed response. But I think true entrepreneurs are born as an entrepreneur. And I think that you can sharpen that and grow on it and build on it and nurture it just like a muscle that you can work out. But I think true entrepreneurs are born. I do think there are business owners that are not entrepreneurs, actually. I think they're more operators, more of the COOs, but they're
almost
operators.
An entrepreneur.
Yeah, they're entrepreneur
as opposed to entrepreneur.
They came up with a great product or service or whatever it may be, and they've built it to an incredible company, but they don't have this weird-ass drive that's inside of when you ask the question, what's the story, what makes you do it? And honestly, dude, I think I was born with it, and I think I grew up with a father that refused to put limits on me. And every time I would even put a limit on myself would make me go break that ceiling. Yeah. And as a kid, you don't really understand everything that's going on. But I think for him, it was just good because he grew up, country ass dirt roads, was, beat by his father. And
We talked about it a little bit before.
Yeah.
Your father was probably a perfect definition of tough love.
Yeah. But real, like you felt loved, but hard discipline, doesn't put up with shit. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not going to talk back to my mom, my sisters, no telling how many flat out whoopings I got as a kid.
Well, that's called child abuse today.
Yeah, it's called, jail. But what's unique is that, again, it's part of what I think is what is inside that drive. It was him pushing me to be willing to push more. This one story, man. I was in high school and I played in a smaller division, so not like a 5A school, is a smaller school. And
which school, by the way?
We were done in Georgia.
Okay.
And it was down in a Christian school called Kingsway.
Way out in Narnia.
Yeah, Narnia. And so I was running the ball, and I think I'd run. It was probably a sucky team, to be honest. Just make sure the story is not about me. And I had ran like maybe 3 or 4 touchdowns. I know what it was. And they kicked the ball off to us in like the fourth quarter. They kicked the ball off, and I was returning it. And I ran the ball all the way back for a touchdown. And assuming my dad, you get in the car driving home, assuming my dad is just going to be like, oh man, you had, 5 touchdowns and ran a kickoff back and just waiting like my mom did, you know what I mean? Like when she saw me. But when my dad saw me, got in the car and we're driving home, and he said, he's like, hey, it was a good game tonight. And he said, you did good, and he said, but I got a question. And I said, yeah, well, he said, hey, when you were in that fourth quarter, when you were running that football back, he said, what happened? And I was thinking, what happened? What do you mean? He's like, did you put ankle weights on, son? Were you trying to play tag and let them catch you for some reason? And the point of it was, he was like telling me that I wasn't conditioned enough, that it looked like I was slower in the fourth quarter. And it wasn't about me scoring 4 touchdowns. That was irrelevant.
Right.
It was about, why in the fourth quarter did you look slower on the kickoff return? But I think, again, it goes back to your question, man. I think that entrepreneurs, I believe, true entrepreneurs, not entrepreneurs, not business owners that have a great gadget, but true entrepreneurs, I think they're born, and I think I got super lucky. And that's the thing, another thing that people don't ever talk about in entrepreneurship and business. There's a thing called fucking luck.
Yeah.
I don't care what you say, dude. There's a thing called luck. And am I allowed to cuss on this?
Oh, fuck
place?
yeah.
I don't know. But
no say fuck words. No bitches, no nothing.
And so, part of what people don't ever talk about as entrepreneurs, there's a thing called fucking luck.
Yeah.
And sometimes people get luckier than others and so forth. And I've got luck in my life, and I've been unlucky in my life.
Right.
But to say that there's no luck is bullshit.
Right.
I was lucky to be born in a family that my dad constantly pushed and drove, which fed into. It doesn't matter what I go do on that dumbass list that my team wrote of successes, but it's like whatever I get into, I only know how to do it one way. Wide the fuck open and figure out how to get to the top of it. Yeah. And when I get to the top of it, it's kind of like, and I have a problem with this, and maybe it's not a problem, but I will build a company, get it to as big as I think it can get or should be. And I don't even care. I will walk away from it like, well, it's kind of like, well, that's conquered. That's over. So what else is there to play for?
Right.
I won. So, okay, next game.
Yeah.
So that's the best answer I give you, man. That's the truth of the matter, in my opinion, at least.
Well, so you say entrepreneurs born, not made, right?
Yeah.
But a lot of there's plenty of probably entrepreneurs who were born who probably didn't have someone to push it out of them.
Sure.
Because
that's
being an entrepreneur, I think there's one thing that'll define an entrepreneur is that he's willing to do what other people are not willing to do.
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
And sometimes it takes a lot to push that out of you, right? Because I was the same way. I had a father. I know we talked about this before, who was, he was tough.
Yeah.
He was tough on me. Like we were just saying, like if I was scared of the baseball when we were pitching, and he saw any fear in me, he would take me out right after the game and start throwing the baseball at me, hitting me on purpose to teach me to not be afraid of it.
Yep.
Again, some people call that child abuse, right?
Yeah.
A lot of people call that, discipline or just teaching a lesson, because at the end of the day, I learned, I'm like, oh, well, if my dad throws it as hard as he throws it, and okay, that's how it feels, and I was a lot less scared the next time I got to bat.
With 11-year-olds.
Yeah, from 11, 12-year-old, or even a kid in high school. And I was like, I can take this,
Yeah.
And that was a big lesson for me, right?
Sure.
But I struggle to wonder if I would be who I am had my dad not pushed me. Maybe I was born this way, but had he not pushed it out of me, had he not drawn it out of me, You know, do you feel the same way about it being born, or it has to be brought out of you, or what do you think about that?
Yeah, so I think I agree with the point with you on it. Is what I'm saying is that I think true entrepreneurs are born, and by true entrepreneur, I'm just meaning we cannot turn it off. There's zero chance of me ever being able to turn off what it is that I do, and I've tried before. Like I have sincerely tried because honestly, dude, like just the truth of it. Sometimes it fucking sucks.
Yeah.
It blows, dude. And I wish I could sometimes turn it off and just go on vacation for a month and not do shit and not care and not want to drive. But after a couple of days, dude, I'm losing my mind because I cannot turn it off. That's why I'm saying it's born in me. It's like the Batman born in the darkness, you know what I mean? Like it's fucking inside of me and there is no turning it off. There's no turning it off. Now, the next thing that you're talking about is, you know, if my father would not have been there to create the drive.
Yeah. Or almost maybe even that like mindset of I have to be better than I thought I could.
I got to push.
Yes,
I got to push. I got to push.
Exactly.
You know, I think without that, that's where I said, like, I said, like, I was lucky, dude, because I had a dad that was pushing and kind of feeding that mindset of I can do more, I can go farther, I can accomplish things other people can't. Not that there was no such thing as me being special, you know what I mean? Like there's the last thing he was going through his head, but he was driving into setting up, this is so weird, dude. He would set up obstacles on purpose, activities for me as a young kid to absolutely fail.
Yeah.
Like there was no way I was going to be able to accomplish what he set me out to go do.
Right.
But he set it up for me to fail so that I could keep doing it until I could figure out a way to succeed.
Yeah.
And he would just do shit like that. And I would just stay at it until I could find a way to go over it, through it, under it. It didn't matter. So I think that's the lucky part that I'm talking about that you have to have. Maybe the third part of the question you're asking is like, hey, what happens when you are born an entrepreneur, but you don't have, you weren't lucky like I was and had a father that fed that side of it. Again, I'm going to say that sucks, but that's luck that I had. Yeah. You could, but it doesn't mean that you can't still be an entrepreneur. It just means that you've got to go find another piece that's going to be inside of you from a different angle. Yeah. That's going to make you want to go out and accomplish those things. It could be that you grew up in a poor family and you want to go succeed. That's normally a lot of what you find when you interview entrepreneurs is that they grew up poor and they have to go become something else because they don't like the pain, pain that they grew up with. And mine is not that. And we grew up poor. Like I grew up on WIC and I ate Kick cereal and government cheese and juicy juice in the tin cans. If you remember that was, if you're on WIC, you don't know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I have no idea what you're talking about.
And dude, that's all government bullshit food. Yeah. But being poor is not what drives me. What drives me is, well, of course I could go do that. I have to go do that. I have to go figure this thing out. I have to. And there's nothing inside my brain. It's in a weird about way. It's like a limitless belief system that I have of, I look at something. It's like, what the fuck are you talking about? Of course I'm going to go figure this out. Right. Why would I go figure this out? Yeah. And so for other people that don't maybe have that experience where I was nurtured that way, you got to go figure out what it is that drives you and motivates you to feed that entrepreneurship that's inside of you. You know. Right.
Well, I mean, you're talking about the pain, and most you're right. It almost feels like entrepreneurs who come from that background of being poor. I've heard some people say they have an advantage. Sure. Right? They say they have an advantage because they know the pain of what it's like to be at the bottom. They've seen it. And so they realize the pain of staying where I'm at is going to be a lot worse than the pain of the risk that I'm about to take to invest and dive deep into what I want to build. Right. Yeah, sure. And I think that has a lot to do with, like, you're talking about luck, you know, of course, luck has a lot to do with it. Right. Yeah. But at the end of the day, just because some people are luckier than others doesn't mean there's not something inside you that's just born there. Oh, yeah. That you can nurture and grow and push through whatever it is. I don't care what country you're born into. I just had a good friend of mine on here. His name's Nick Santanastasso, right? Oh, yeah. Born with no legs. No legs. One, like he says half an arm, right?
Man, I don't know about that.
But you know what? Like when I talk to him and when I see him, you would think unlucky. because there's a very small amount of people that have ever, survived what he was born with, the disease he was born with, to have that. And you think, man, that's really unlucky. But to him, he looks at it as that opportunity to grow. He looks at it as that, almost as this advantage that he has to realize that he can do it, right?
Yeah,
So
sure.
when poor people come from the standard of, I know what it's like to be at the bottom and I will not stop until I get to the top, kind of same thing with, just that pain that drives you,
So I think what you find there is that every entrepreneur has to find whatever it is that they can go use, right?
Yeah.
And that's what I think what you're talking about there is that the person that grew up poor is using that as his motivation, but I'm using, what drives me is I don't understand the word failure, and this is not me being cocky. I'm just being fucking honest with you. Like, and it's not that I haven't failed. That is not what I'm fucking saying at all. I have plenty of failings, but failure, no, I don't fucking understand that word because failure means I had to quit.
Ooh, yeah.
Failure means I had to quit.
Yeah.
Now I might get kicked in the teeth. You may take me down. I may be at the bottom. You may bury my fucking ass, but I just don't have that fucking gene of quit. Like, and again, this is where it comes from my dad.
Right.
Like there was no fucking quitting. And I don't understand that, that concept, but to the point of, I think an entrepreneur has to find what that is that drives them, right? So I could flip the coin and say the rich kid that grew up rich versus poor has to find, I know many second generation wealthy kids right now, and they have to go find that thing that's going to move them, that is internally inside of them, that they have, that it's not just motivation. It pisses you off. It inspires you sometimes.
It's almost an obsession.
It humbles you sometimes. It's an obsession that lives in you.
Right.
And you got to go figure that out. And so I think what you find is entrepreneurs use different things, whatever that may be, that's their thing that they use as their, they'll say, I'm lucky because I was poor. I'm lucky because I was this. And I'm saying I'm lucky because I had a dad, and that's just the thing that I use. Go back to the main question is, what is it drives you? Well, fuck is that?
Well, I mean, your dad made you push through some painful things, right? And as a matter of fact, not only did he make you push through painful things, he probably inflicted some pain on you to make sure that you understood what it's like to push through that.
Yep.
And so many entrepreneurs who have these dreams, these goals, they want to accomplish things. Hell, maybe they want to build a $350 million real estate business where they sell from stage, right?
Yeah.
Maybe they want to build, a car dealership. I don't know, right?
Yeah.
What do they want to build? They have these dreams that they want to accomplish. But the second they experience that pain, the second they have to go through some real shit, right? Your best friends turn their back on you. Your family tells you they don't believe in you. You're an idiot for doing this. You just can go down the list of so many things you experience and the pain that comes with this journey. The second they experience that, they turn back. They don't look at that as a thing, I've got to bowl my way through. I've got to fucking push through. They say, oh shit, I ain't cut out for this, right?
Yeah.
Like, I wonder if had my dad not pushed me through, had I not gone to him one day, be like, Dad, I don't like baseball. It's kind of scary. Be like, okay, son, let's take you out of baseball.
Right.
Instead of saying, quit being a fucking pussy. Let's go outside and see how it feels to get hit by a baseball, right? But as an entrepreneur, I know every entrepreneur has experienced a lot of pain, right?
Oh yeah.
What are some things you've experienced in your entrepreneurship journey, or that pain you've had to push through? Because obviously you're talking about how you won't quit.
Yeah.
Tell us, what's some of the pain you've experienced that you've had to push through?
Yeah, there's all different ones. My mind is racing of all the fucking pain and not me being a failure, but failing of things.
Where to start, right?
And there's so many of them, dude. But I think the one, if I try to get most authentic and real with you, would be to your viewers. Like, I went through a pain where I come from a family that was poor. We didn't have money, and I got out of college and my degree after my freshman year, I knew I wasn't going to go do, but I just couldn't quit. So I was like, well, fuck it. I got 3 more years. I got to go finish because there's no such thing as quitting. And so I finished that and then went into business. Right when I got out, I went into business and I got into real estate, and it was 2004-ish. And again, once I get into it, there's no limit of how big I can grow. Right. Because I don't understand there being an end until I get to the point I'm like, okay, I've reached it. And I don't know what the fucking answer is until I get there. And so I started in real estate, and it wasn't about me flipping, 2 houses a year. Most people would love to flip 1 house a year, and 10 houses a year would be like, oh my God, you're incredible. And I was flipping houses, and then it was like, okay, how do I grow this? And got to the hundreds of houses per year that we were flipping and building, and not wholesaling, like buy, fix, and sell, and running a huge company of buy, fix, and sell. And I'm 23, and my family at that time, I was by far, I mean, there wasn't even close the most successful financially person in my family, right?
Right.
Had a big house, 10 bedrooms, 12 bathrooms, 5-car garage, all the fucking cars. Like
at 23?
Like at 23, 24 years old, man. And just like the cars you got out there. But unfortunately mine were all on leases because I didn't know anything about money at the time.
Yeah.
And so, you know, I built it all up, and my whole family looked up to me as this is not the right word, but you'll hear me out. This like the savior of like, oh my God, you've accomplished this. You know, my dad came from getting his ass beat by a drunk and sacrificed for me to be able to get here, and I got there. Okay. And I immediately started giving the money back and started paying for things for my family and all of it. Right.
Right.
And 2008 happened, and I didn't know anything about the fucking market. Like that wasn't what I didn't understand any of that.
Yeah.
Interest rates, I wasn't anything. All I knew was buy a house that was ugly, fix it up, sell it, and I'll make money, right?
Yeah.
And so I was a machine at that. Market crashes, and I lose everything. And I say I lose everything, dude. I mean, I fucking lose everything. And my, I lost my personal house. I lost all my cars. I got a phone call that one day that my whole other story I don't want to get into, but my wife left and all I got was a phone call from my assistant that my house was cleaned out. Never talked to her or saw her again. Till this day, I've never seen or talked to my ex-wife again. It was just like
gone,
poof, gone, like death almost, like doesn't exist.
Wow.
And had to move back in my parents' basement. They lent me one of their old used beat to shit cars.
Yeah.
I was on my parents' cell phone bills. I was borrowing money from my 16-year-old sister for lunch money at Chick-fil-A. And I had jack shit, dude. When I said I have anything, it was so bad that both my parents had to file bankruptcy because I was using their credit on all these houses and shit that I was buying, right?
Oh,
and so both my mom and dad allowed me, to use their credit and stuff. And so they ended up having all these, 30 houses on their credit that I was like, guys, this is it. There's nothing else I can do. Like coming back to your dad, who's like your hero, and saying, bro, I fucked, just like that. I see it on TikTok all now, the movie with Bradley Cooper. And they're like, we fucked up.
Yeah.
We fucked up.
Yeah.
And I had one of those moments, and then making my parents walk into a courtroom to file bankruptcy, and I went with them, and it's just like, God, it was there was my dad who never missed a payment in his life. It's kind of, him and my mom, it's just how they were kind of raised in that angle of like, it's the worst thing in their world to miss a payment, right? So I got to that point, lost everything, and no wife, no car, no house, no money. Our pets' heads are falling off. You know what I mean? Like,
how old were you once this is like fully developed at that point? Because you had that success around 23, 24.
Yeah. So
once it started happening and shit hit the fan, how old?
Well, it was 2008, so I don't know the exact age, but I was in my mid 25, 26, 27, I guess, somewhere around in that age.
Yeah.
You can do the math on it, but I probably blacked out most of the time frames, but somewhere around that age of like higher 20s is where I was, and had to move back in, and I was the first person in my family to go through a divorce. We grew up a very Christian family, and like divorce was like never an option. And of course, we grew up with no quit. That was never a fucking option, but I had no say in it. Like it was it. It was gone. So. You talk about failure. Okay, that's probably one of the biggest failures that in moments in my life where I sat with absolutely jack shit, and I mean nothing, dude. And I was probably sulking for I don't know, maybe 2 or 3 months, and I was just at my dad's house and was becoming a borderline loser, right? Like the typical, I live in my mom's basement, and it was my mom and dad's basement, and I was on the couch one day, just sulking, like licking my wounds. Yeah. And my dad walked in the room, off coming after a 12-hour work shift, because that's what he fucking does every day, and doesn't know anything else. And he worked 12-hour shifts, and comes home one day in his work clothes, and I'm laying on the couch like a bum at 6 o'clock in the evening, right? And licking my wounds, and there was a like a belt on the floor. I don't know. It's in the living room. It's just some belt. I don't know, my mom's or sister's. I don't know whether there's a fucking belt though. And he walked in the living room where I was after coming home from work, and he looked at me, and I kind of sat up for a second, and he kicked the belt as hard as he fucking could. As hard as the very few times where I'm like, oh, as a kid, I was like, oh shit, this is really bad. Like there's one thing where he was disciplining me or training me, and there's another one of like, okay, he's now going to this next level of like, shit's about to go fucking down, and I have no control over what's about to happen next. Like, this is not going to be a win for me in this category. And he kicked it as hard as he can, and he looked at me and said, "You're going to lay there and be a fucking loser, or you can get up and go do something." And it was like, oh yeah, why am I laying here? And it's just that kick back in the nuts again of like, dude, failing sucks, and failing is and losing like that is the worst. But at that moment, you got two options, man. There's only two. Yeah. Fucking lay there and be a bitch, or get the fuck up and go do something. Right. And again, fortunately, I had a dad that kicked me in the nuts that day and said, get up and go do something. And then I went through about a year of, and I think it was a really good process where I went back and said, okay, what did I do wrong? Because I got to learn from it, right? You know, so what did I do wrong? And I figured out what some mistakes that I made. And I went and found a guy, and I went and called the guy up and said, hey, I'll be an intern for you for a year. And this is me making from millions to me making $10 an hour. And I said, I work for $10 an hour. I want to be like an intern for you. I'll do whatever you want, unlimited hours. I don't give a shit, but I want to learn from you. And I moved to Chicago. And worked for this guy and lived in a piece of shit house and a piece of shit car and for $10 an hour and worked God knows how many hours. But I wanted to get around the thing that I felt like I was missing. But the other piece that was good in it is it gave me time to process what was going on, like process. So sometimes you especially when you're getting going, you'll fail and you don't actually take the time to process what happened so you can learn from it. And in a big failure like that early in life and a big failure, I needed some time to actually sincerely, emotionally, psychologically process that failure so I could get through it. If not, it becomes you're never actually able to learn from it. Right. You're just able to like, oh yeah, that happened. It motivates me. And I didn't need motivation. Right. I needed understanding of what did I go wrong. And there is a time that you have to process, and deeper the failure, the more time you do need to process it so you can learn from it and move forward.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the successful people stand on a mountain of failures.
That's all it is.
Right.
So that's why I said, when you ask me the question, I'm like, oh shit, let me pick which failure I want to show you. But I just wanted to show you the biggest failure that I've had. Like I have nothing to hide. That was my biggest failure. Like, fuck it. It was the worst. Yeah. But it only mounts up to a big mountain of success at the end of it, as long as you don't quit. Right. It's almost like a gauntlet. I've always thought of it this way. In order to achieve a certain level of success, you almost have to become worthy of that. Right. You have. It's not about like the monies per se. It's about if you want to be a millionaire, you need to become a person worthy of making $1 million because money is value. Right. Right. Money is value. I say this: the world will always pay you what it thinks you're worth. So if you want to be a millionaire, be a man worth $1 million who can provide that kind of value to the workspace, to your business, to people in this world, right? Okay. And you cannot become that person unless you've gone through the gauntlet of fire to some degree. And honestly, you look at like billionaires, they're not billionaires, just because they woke up the next day billionaire, right? Or whatever. Right, I mean, maybe there's a few who got born in billionaires, but most millionaires and billionaires in this country or in the world were self-made. And they did it because they had the same attitude of, I'm not going to fucking quit no matter what happens, no matter what gets in my way. I'm not giving up. I don't care if I have to go back to rock bottom. I'm going to be back at $1 million mindset, right? Because the thing is you came back. Yeah, right? Correct. You bounced back. Look at you now. Like you've obviously had a lot of success in real estate. Again, you think a lot of people who has said, oh, real estate sucked for me. Now I might go try, cars, or now I might go try, I don't know, cattle. I don't know what it is, right? Another thing. But you went back into real estate, right? And that's the thing is that no quit mentality of no matter what happens, this is who I am. You will never out-earn who you are. You'll never out-earn your identity. And the second you become that person, now you've become worthy of that level of success. And just because you lose it doesn't mean you can't come back from that. Doesn't mean you can't rebound and do the exact same thing over. Just do it better the next time. Right? Yeah, and that's what you've experienced, right? Yeah. I mean, now you host a podcast where you've had some of the biggest names all across this world come and, sit down with you and you've interviewed them. You've built an incredible business in real estate. What other businesses have you been a part of? I know you got
got a couple things going right now.
I got tons of things going. Again, it goes back to is I'm a born entrepreneur, so it's like I cannot not have things going on. I left headed over here. When I drove over here, I was literally like I walked out and I was with Doug. I left a meeting. It was a 3-hour meeting with a group of guys I was there to kind of advise and give counsel to. And I think when I left, I'm like, oh shit, I think I just started another company. I was like, wait a second, fuck. But you know, one of the ones that I love right now is I'm diving into the sports card world of sports
Huge
cards.
Market.
And you know, a lot of times this is maybe a cool teaching point here. You know, I think that there's certain keywords in life that are important, and for me, in a personal brand, okay, and not a business, but a personal brand, I think the 3 words I try to live by the most are inspire, impact, and influence. I think those 3 words I think can help someone nurture and build their personal brand. And sports cards is really more one that came from a personal side of me. On a business side, I think the words are cause, connections, and collaborations. I think those are 3 words on the business side: cause, connections, and collaborations. On the personal brand side, I think it's more of what inspires doing. What is it you love? Like, what is it you freaking love, dude?
Right.
And impact is a unique one. Impact is, I think, a lot of entrepreneurs that want to change the world, right? Like when you really get deep dive with entrepreneur, normally we'll always come back to, I want to fucking do something so big that it puts my fucking stamp on planet Earth. I don't even know what it is yet, but I have this like drive that I got to do something massive. And I would probably put that in the bucket of influence, because influence is one of the most powerful things that exist on planet Earth is influence. And when someone has influence, it is extremely powerful.
Yes.
But to get influence is very, very hard, right? So I think to get it in a personal brand, right? When you think about influence, right? Like, and if you tie it to social media for a second, which I don't always like to do, when someone has 8 million followers, they have influence, and they can post an ad about water that they don't even drink, but they're getting paid $1 million to post this on their story. Yeah. And all of a sudden they'll go sell for that brand $8 million worth of water. Right. Okay, it's influence, right?
Well, Elon Musk I think he has most influence in this world. One tweet skyrockets markets or it tanks them,
right?
You know, a picture of his fucking dog made people millionaires.
It's how it works. It's influence,
That's
right?
That's that power of influence.
So if you think about it, inspire is doing what you love. Impact, I call it going deep, but narrow. What I mean is, to impact someone's life, impact is where you actually deeply are impacting, connecting with them, making an actual difference in someone's life, where they look back at you and say, you are one of the people that has impacted me. That's deep and narrow. Influence is wide but shallow. Influence is masses but not super deep, right? Like, you go back to Elon if you want to for a second. Like, we'll talk about Elon Musk, but I've never met him.
No,
I've never talked to him.
Right.
And I had a phone call with him, never texted him.
Right.
Everything. But he has influence.
Yes.
That's shallow, but very, very wide. Right. Impact is super deep. So I think, as you build out your brand and your businesses, I think you look at those 3 things, right? What do I do that I love? How can I impact someone today? And if I want to create influence, the way that I create influence is that I create impact. And the more that I impact people's lives one-on-one, the more overall influence I'll begin to have. Because as you impact someone's life, when they go out, they'll begin to naturally talk about you and talk about what you got going on. And, oh, dude, he was great. He did this. There was this. You impacted someone, and now they're a free marketing piece, if you will, for you. When they reach out to someone, now that person comes back and follow you or buys into your philosophy of business or life, whatever it may be. Yeah. And now you have influence on that side. Sports cards, all that to say, sports cards is one of those things. But I'm not a sports card guy. Like, I love them. I collect them as a kid. I collect them now. I opened boxes this morning. I love doing it, but I don't know a ton about it. I'm not some like, oh, you got to buy this card. And I'm not an expert at cards. What I'm an expert at is I do what I love, and I love cards. So when COVID hit, I was like, I had to make a pivot. And so I was like, oh, I'm going to play with cards for a while. And I started playing with cards. Then what happens is the entrepreneurial fucking brain kicks in, and I can't stop it. And so I deep dive on what I love, which is cards. Yeah. And I naturally will look for, where's the opportunity that's not being served right now? Where's this place that's not being nurtured inside of this industry that should be there. And I found a massive, probably the biggest one I've ever found, opportunity by just doing what I love. And so once I figure out the opportunity, then it's a matter of connecting all the pieces. I'm going to get some weird shit here with you for a second.
Do it.
That I've never shared before.
Please.
I the way my brain works, dude, is I have what's called a chessboard. Okay. And when I say that, I mean, the way my brain plays this game of business is, and I don't know where this came from, but I have like a digital chessboard right here. And it kind of like sits up here in my head where obviously there's not one there, but it's right there. I can see it. And every chessboard in my brain is just a different game that I'm playing, or you could call it a business that I own.
Yeah.
And as I in 2 years ago was playing with what I love, which is sports cards, a chessboard was created. And so when this chessboard now pops on the screen, I will let it sit there for a while with no pieces on it yet. And I'll slide it kind of like your iPhone. I'll slide it to my other chess boards that I have that are going on, and I will strategically move the pieces that I need to move to make everything come together and grow. I hate operations. I hate operations. I love getting it to where everything's there. It needs to be. All the pieces are in place, and then let someone run with it. And so I have like all these chessboards that are my businesses that I play. Some of them are blank, and it's not because I don't know the pieces yet. It's because I will deep ponder, think, meditate, whatever you call it, in my own world of, do I want to enter into that opportunity? Right. I see it. I know that it's there. I can see it all, but I have to make a decision of, is it worth my value? Is it worth my time for me to go into this world right now? I did one 2 days ago where I had a chessboard that hit me about 4 months ago. And I was like, oh shit, that's a good fucking market, dude. I was like, oh man, I saw the opportunity. I'm like, oh dude, there's an underserved market, which creates a demographic that I understand and know. I understand why they're not being served in this field right now. And it's like, oh shit, dude, I can see it. And so the chessboard sits there, and then I say meditate. I don't know what you call it. I just have a tendency to deep dive mentally and think through like all these different scenarios when I'm alone and I'm in the shower, when I'm in my creative time, when I'm driving. I'll pull the chessboard back up and I'm like, oh yeah, let's think about that for a second. How would this work? Who would this be? What pieces would I need? How does this all play out? What's the end goal here? And then I'll move it and then come back to it later. I do it for a while. 2 days ago, I finally said, okay, actually it was Sunday. I said, okay, fuck it. This is it. This is a good one, man. Jump in. And Monday morning, I text the person that I knew that I would need and said, hey man, let's get in a phone call. I need to talk to you. I got someone I want to buy you. And then as soon as that happens, I start putting all the chess pieces in place that need to make this thing run. And I'll spend the rest of my time, I have a phone call. Literally, it's funny I'm saying this shit. I have a phone call when I leave here. I'm driving to Space Station. I get a phone call between here with this group that I'm working with now of just putting all the pieces in place so that I can go play this game at a high level. Most entrepreneurs, my friend, play checkers. That's the fucking truth. I'm not trying to be rude or mean, and I'm not anybody special. I'm just telling you, I spend my whole job is people, and most people play fucking checkers.
Well, I mean, just for our listeners who don't understand exactly what you mean there, the difference between chess and checkers, chess, you have to be thinking 2 or 3 moves ahead, not only on the game, not only just in general, you have to try to be thinking 2 to 3 moves ahead of your opponent. So if he's thinking 2 to 3 moves ahead, you're trying to think 2 to 3 moves ahead of him. And it's this battle of wits that happens back and forth. But checkers, it ain't like that. It's just like,
you can play that shit at Cracker Barrel.
Yeah, you can play. That's right.
You know what I mean?
It's like Connect 4 at that point. You know, it's
tic-tac-toe.
Exactly, for ages 3+, right? So I just want to clarify that for anyone. What you're talking about here is the strategy at the deeper levels of what you're seeing with these different businesses and how it's going to play out, thinking so deep already, just when it's presented to your mind that you're thinking that deep. Am I right on that?
I will deep dive and start slowly, methodically thinking through all the moves it's going to take and who are those pieces and what does it need and how do I need to go and where would this work here? And then I'll start creating contingency plans because not everything in business is going to work out. I got a plan for, in the example that you gave, that the other person makes a move that I wasn't expecting, basically. And I was like, oh shit, I missed that move. Okay, well I have a backup strategy, so I'll move that over here now. And once I have all that built out, I turn the game on
and
I go play it.
The only way to be in that kind of scenario or to be that skilled is to have experience and to learn and to have these moves happen that you didn't even think of, that someone else thought of. And now as an experienced entrepreneur, you know that move.
Yep.
I say this all the time. The most dangerous information is the information you don't know.
You don't know, yeah.
The only thing that could harm you is what you don't know. You don't know the move because you're not familiar with the move. All of a sudden they make a move and you're like, oh shit.
I didn't see that coming.
But then
you
when
had no plan, you have nothing to do now.
There's no way to plan for it because you didn't even know. That's
Correct.
why having mentors is so powerful, because they can see at farther ahead than what you can. But at the same time, that can never replace the actual experience that you go through of, I've seen these moves play out. Now when I start a business, I know how to prep all these moves and to set a business in place so we can be protected against all these moves. That's the game.
That's the game.
And I love what you said though. Business, you're talking about being an operator versus an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
Business to me is a game of people. Money is people. Business is literally people. You cannot have a business as you by yourself. If you don't talk to anybody else, you don't have any clients, no one working with you, there's no such thing as a business without people.
Yep.
Right? It's a game of people. It's a game of emotions. Yes, you can put in place, here's website, here's our funnels, here's our marketing strategy, X's and O's, right? But at the end of the day, it's people. You're talking about the impact you have to be a successful entrepreneur with your people. Right?
All people driven, man.
Yeah.
If you caught what I said when I was going through it, I literally said, I'm in the people business.
Yes.
Like my business is people. And so understanding humans, understanding people, understanding relationships is the business that I'm in. So when you talk about that chessboard, I'm now reaching in and saying what people is what I'm saying. When I'm saying what pieces do I need, I'm saying what people do I need that I have that I can bring on board, bring on my team to help create, build, structure this the right way that I can go do this. And then what's funny, dude, this is my it's a gift and it's a curse. But what happens is once I set the chessboard up, dude. It's like digital chess, okay? So once I set the chessboard up in my head and I put the people on it, I actually kind of walk away from it. It's like, because now it's like digital chess, the pieces will start moving. So
those first pawns are going out.
It's just going to start. I've already ran through all the scenarios. I've already moved all the pieces.
If you watch a chess master, the first few moves, it all just happens super quick, right?
It's just moving around, and it starts to. And then that's why I can do a lot of companies, is because the people are in place that I know that I need to run it or be a part of it or help it do whatever it is. And at that point, I kind of step away from it and let the chessboard run. Because again, I've already walked through all the scenarios. Yeah. And so at the end of that point, then it's a matter of if something does happen or a mistake comes about or an accident comes about, okay, I can jump back in and fix it. But it almost that's why I have so many chessboards, is because if it was just one, as an entrepreneur, I'd be bored of my fucking brain. Right. Like I already know the outcome of what's about to happen. It's just now it takes time to get there, but the outcome is determined.
Right.
This is what's going to take place. This is how we're going to go win. And sports cards was one of those. Like sports cards was one where I said 2 years ago when I launched it, I put the pieces together. And I don't want to drop names right now. I can tell you why later, but I don't want to drop names or anything. But when I sat out and said, okay, I'm going to go do this. Here's how I'm going to do it. Here's where I think I can sell it for $1 billion. Like I think it's $1 billion exit. And I put all the pieces in place and I said, okay, here's what I need. And I said, who am I going to need? I came up with a list of the people that I needed to go do this. It took me 2 years to get to the spot. 2 fucking years.
Long chess game.
Long fucking play out of a chessboard. And it wasn't the only game I was playing, but it was just a chessboard that I long-term played out and slowly got to the point where I got all the pieces that I need in place. Happened about 4 weeks ago. And that's it. Chessboard's done now. Complete. Now it's like off the fucking races. But the chessboard's done. Now it's like the outcome is just now in my brain. It's just like, is it 1 billion, 2 billion, 3 billion? I don't fucking know. They believe it's 1 to 3. And it's like, okay, well, I don't know. Maybe it's 1, maybe it's 2, maybe it's 900 million. I don't know. But that's the only piece I don't know yet. I mean, I can have a good estimate based off of cash flow performance, but the fucking pieces are there. So now now it's like, okay, well, here's these other chessboards I go play with, right?
Well, let me.
It's weird, but that's how it works.
No, this is gold. I mean, you see that chessboard behind me.
Yeah, I saw it there. Let me think of it.
I love chess, right? I love it with all my heart because of that scenario. Like I played quarterback in college and in high school. And it's the same thing. Okay, like I'm playing the people game.
You're not playing one. Yeah, you're not playing a play. A quarterback is playing 22 people.
Exactly. I'm seeing what everyone's doing, and I love to think ahead of, okay, if he comes here and if I move him here, then I go there. Just the multiple things. That's why I love business and love what we're doing here so much. But let me ask you this, because one of the biggest chess games I'm playing in my head, and I know everyone who's watching this agrees with me on one thing: we love this country.
Okay,
right.
Sure.
And what people don't understand is you're a patriot. You love this country. You're a big time. I
bleed red.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, America's red, white, and blue, but blue's a liberal Democrat, so I only bleed red and white at this point. Okay, just be clear.
Yeah, I get that. But so what? Yeah, so this is a big chess game that a lot of people are playing in their head and don't have the answers to. Is the state of our economy is scary.
Yeah, sure.
It really is. And I talk about this to my people a lot. This is a big point, and what I want to do is that I believe we are on a really scary path. If you just look at history, because obviously I'm only 26. I look at the history and I say we're fucked.
Yep.
Right.
Okay.
And I listen to the other names and they say the same thing. Right.
Yeah.
And so the real question that everyone is playing right now in their head, the chess game, is what are the next moves in order to prepare myself against what could come? And that is such a big, broad, question, because we have no idea what's going to come. We can only play off of what we've seen before in the past. But okay, what's going to happen to the economy? Are we going to turn into, a communist country? Are we going to have a civil war in our hand? I've heard all the conversations happen. I know you've had those conversations with people too. We don't know, but in regards to business, finance, or just in regard to, preparing yourself and playing chess in that regard, what advice would you give to all listeners, to me, to everyone, in how to prepare for what could be coming?
Yeah.
That's a pretty broad question. So
yeah, we can break it down a little bit. But in general, the first thing that comes to my head, honestly, is obviously I've had this question asked and I've asked it and so forth. One thing in all those scenarios, right, that we can look down and see financially, this could happen, economy, this could happen, socially, this could happen, et cetera. Here's one thing that you have to understand. It goes back to we started this conversation as, no matter what that shit that goes down, understand one thing: I'm going to fucking win. That's the only thing I know. And whatever scenario you want to throw at me, whatever, I went from selling $350 million in 4 years on stages, and COVID hit. And I went from speaking internationally around the world every weekend. I hit 92 weekends in a row with no fucking weekends off, including holidays. And broke every record you could possibly think of when it comes to publicly speaking. And in one fucking weekend,
it's all gone.
It's done. Over. Game over. Closed doors. Nothing else. There's zero. None. Lost a ton of money. Haven't been on one of those platforms since. However, inside of it, my brain never says, woe is me, and oh shit, and oh my God, I just lost all this money, and oh my, what am I going to do now? And COVID has hit. My brain only says, fuck it, how am I going to win? There's just a new game.
Right.
And through that was birthed many other companies now that I run, but one of them is this sports card. It was literally birthed in the first month of fucking COVID, because I was watching Tiger King, if you remember that show. Yeah. Right when COVID came out, I was watching Tiger King playing sports cards on my computer. And so one thing you got to understand is that no matter what happens, part of it is your mindset, and you're either a winner or you're a loser of a mindset. Not a loser as a human, but you just have a losing mindset. And I don't understand it. There's nothing I can say to you, because I don't fucking understand it. It's like a square peg in a round hole. There's nothing I can say. However, past that point, if you have that mindset of I'm a fucking winner, now you can start looking at it and breaking it down financially. You can look about socially. You can talk about economically. You can talk about all the children stuff that's going on right now.
Right.
And here's one thing that I fully believe, because my father's a history major, and so I was always taught training by history, basically.
Right.
And
the same way.
And there's always some general somewhere. My dad was teaching me a lesson on life with General Patton, and I'm like,
General Patton,
Dad, I'm in third grade.
That's right.
I was talking about my teacher, and she said something to me. But inside of, you look at the world and go back, and I'm gonna steal this piece from Joe Rogan, and I don't know if Joe Rogan created it or someone else created it, but it's so freaking true. It's just understand this, man. Tough times create tough men, and tough men create easy times, and easy times create easy men, and easy men create tough men. That's the fucking cycle of life. However you want to cut it up, go study it. Go back and just watch life take place for hundreds of years. When there's tough times, out of tough times are born tough alpha, use your word, alpha fucking men.
Right.
And that's the truth of it. Like tough men will be born out of these tough times. And in tough times, tough men are born. But because tough men are willing to do things that other men are not willing to do and stand where other men are not willing to stand and say things other men are not willing to say and go places that other men are not willing to go. And because of that, it creates easy times. And now we have it easy because these tough men fucking jumped off of a boat in Normandy and said, fuck it, I'm going to run to this ocean and shoot my gun and see what happens. Let the pieces fall where they fucking may.
Yeah.
And it's like, dude, you think about that. Like you think about at 19 years old when I was in college and instead of me going to college, I'm going to get on a boat, sail to Normandy and jump off of it with machine guns blasting all of us wide open. Like, what the fuck, dude? That's tough.
That's tough.
That's another level of shit, dude. That's like I can sit here and say, oh, I'm an alpha. Dude, don't put me beside that fucking man.
Yeah.
Don't put me, that's a different breed, dude.
Right.
And I don't think I stacked up to that. I mean, that's fucking crazy, dude. But tough men, because they're willing to do that, create easy times. And we, myself included, I feel like have grown up in easy times. Meaning there wasn't really war in Normandy when I was growing up, you know. There wasn't, life was good, dude. Nintendo came out and life was good, dude. Like it was like everything was easy. Great families and neighborhoods were born out of World War II, and the economy was launched, and you know, and easy times unfortunately creates easy men. And right now, I think the world that we live in is built around a bunch of easy men. Yep. And it's built around a bunch of people that are running off the backs of some tough fucking men that came before me, but have created easy men out there. Yeah. And because easy men are now in place, well, there's only one thing ahead of us. Because you can follow that circle all you fucking want. Yeah. And one thing that's going to deliver you is tough fucking times. So that's how I view the whole process. And I just try to be the rare breed as much as I can of saying, I'm not going to be the fucking easy man. I will try my damnedest to be from that tough man generation. And I do nothing but tip my hat to that generation, because that's a fucking real alpha that I don't want to get near, you know what I mean? Yeah, but you know, the truth is, if you keep going back though, and you go back before that, and you'll get into tough times of the Civil War all of a sudden. Like, think about that shit. I'm gonna fucking kill my brother if I have to. Yeah. What the? We're gonna get shit with a round ball and cut our legs off with a fucking bow saw.
If you broke your femur, you're pretty much dead at that point. Yeah.
What are you talking about, bro? Yeah. Like that's insane, dude. And there was no like military like we have it now, where food's getting dropped in on the bases, and bro, that was some fucking go kill a deer if you want to eat some food out. Yeah. But you go back past that, and it gets tougher. Yeah. Like just look at the overall, you know, you have the forest circle, but then look at the overall circle around that one and go by the Roman Empire. Yeah. I'll fucking stab you right now because I don't like you. Yeah. Like what the shit are you talking about? Like
almost as bad as Chicago.
Yeah. It's like Chirac right now, dude. So you just think about that in how life works. Right. And so even what I say, the tough men of Normandy were there. What about the tough men before them? Who are they? And then what about those fucking patriots who came over here and said, England, you can pound sand, bro.
Up your ass, yeah.
Fuck you, I ain't doing that shit. And it's all fun and games. And I say this with like ultimate, like sincere respect. You know, there's a lot of people that run around talking about this concept of this kind of conversation we're having. But dude, it takes a strong fucking man to look at England back in that time frame and know that you ain't probably gonna live through this shit. Like you ain't gonna make it, bro.
But you'll still fight.
You're gonna lose everything that you got is gone. Yeah. If you take one more step this direction. And for those men to say, fuck it, I'm gonna go do it. I don't know if we have those type of men today. Like I'm just being raw honest. Am I one of those fucking men?
We'll find out.
Am I one of those men?
Us are, right?
Like that's another fucking level, dude. Yeah. And so tough times are headed.
Yeah.
Our job is to pay attention as much as we can and make as many moves as we can. I think a lot of it goes to do the mindset of are you a loser or are you a winner? And I only know one thing, and that's to fucking win. And if it doesn't mean I won't lose along the way.
Sure.
That doesn't mean that. American battles have lost battles, but you look at America as a whole, as a country, we fucking win.
Yeah.
That's what we do, right? Like in wars, we win. We may lose some, but we tend to win.
Yeah.
So I think in the economy, you got to look at it that way. Like I can sit here and start diving into the economics of stuff and how the money that's been printed and how socialism is creeping in and all the fucking laws are changing now and this vax concept is going on and we can get all that stuff. But at the end of the day, everybody's heard that. The only thing I would tell your listeners is you gotta fucking determine who are you. Who's that internal being inside of you that exists? And if he doesn't exist, you gotta let that man out because that's what it takes to be an entrepreneur. It's what's going to take to get this country back on track. Is just to be a winner, dude, and have that mindset of no quit. So that's what I'd say about the economy and economically and socially. Yeah. Although I love to talk about stuff.
Oh, it's fun. We could talk for hours.
God, I love that stuff, but be a winner, dude.
At the end of the day, if there's one thing anyone should take away from learning from Andrew here is got to be tough. You got to be tough. Tough times don't last, but tough men do. You're going to experience pain. You're going to experience a lot of fucking failures, right? There's going to be a lot of tough times heading our way. But number one thing that will last is if you're tough and you're willing to push through it. That's what's going to fucking get you there.
In business, I'll tell you this. So you think about business for a second, and this is a great illustration maybe for your listeners, is think about it from this way. Pretend for a second that you're Jeff Bezos.
Right.
Just for a second. Just like fully sink into it that you're Jeff Bezos. Or if you like Jeff, be Elon. I'm going to be Elon because I'm not a big fan of Jeff.
Same.
So
I like
I'm going to be Elon. So just for a second, just fucking pretend that you are truly Elon. Okay. And you're going to go start this ABC business as Elon. Now think to yourself, where along that line do you think Elon Musk says, oh, this is going to fail. There's no way this is going to work. This is for sure going to fail.
Yeah.
We can't do this. There's no way. This has never been done before.
Shoot up a rocket and land it on a fucking little pad in the middle of the ocean.
Where would your life be in business? Because we're talking about entrepreneurship. Where would your life be if you could have the same limitless belief system of success that Elon Musk fucking lives with? Because the thing that's holding you back right now is your own fucking belief system of why every time you get in business, you keep doubting your own success. You keep doubting your own desires and where you should be and where you could be. But what if you had the belief system? You're not going to tell me that Elon Musk starts a business as, oh, this is, well, Mom, this ain't going to work because
hopefully we make it. Yeah.
Dude, that it doesn't exist in his head. And I'm just asking you as the viewer, if you had that same concept in business, where would you fucking be right now? The problem is you live with a mindset of failure and it's not going to work out and this could happen and I don't know if this is going to take place and what about this and what about this and I don't know if I can do this and this is what I'm saying. Like I just fully believe that Elon Musk has a winning fucking mindset and he doesn't understand how not to win. Like he just wins.
Yeah.
But that's a Michael Jordan just wins.
Yes.
He just wins.
Yeah.
We say, well, you shouldn't. Well, fuck you. He did.
Yeah.
And that was his mentality. Like, I'm going to fucking win. Like, give me the ball. I'm going to go win.
Right. Tom Brady.
And in entrepreneurship, you have to have that same desire. You know what I mean? It go back. We're probably coming out of time, and I give you the story. Go back all the way back to the beginning of my dad. That was something that just popped in my head, dude. That when I was going through that in sports, my dad used to literally train me. And I would have to repeat after him, and I'd have to live out the scenarios of that. He'd always say, a winner wants the ball. When she said, I'd be 8 years old. She said, son, listen to me. You're gonna go play this basketball game today. Just understand one thing: if it comes down to it, and it's a tied game or you're losing, just understand. Winners fucking want the ball. Well, he didn't say fuck, but you get my point.
Sure.
Winners want the ball.
Fuck it. Yeah, they did.
Yeah. The kids that stood on that were scared and nervous, dude. I don't know. It's just how I grew up. Was like, dude, Jordan wanted the ball. Brady wants the fucking ball.
Yeah.
Winners want the fucking ball because win, lose, or draw on this one, I want to take my shot. Like, don't fucking take my shot. Like, I will take my shot, and I may lose on this game, in this round, if you will, but it doesn't mean I'm going to lose in the overall game of it. But I'm not afraid to take my shot, dude. But again, that's a mindset of give me the shot, give me the ball. I'm going to fucking do it, right? Yeah. I'm not gonna fail at this. Okay, you might intercept me on this one, or I might fumble on this one, but fuck it, I'm going to play again and I'll beat you in the next one, right? It's just a mindset. And I think entrepreneurs in general sincerely lack it, dude. Yeah. Like, we live in a soft society and we have a lot of soft entrepreneurs and it's part of why there's 9 out of 10 businesses fail. And they say, oh, it's because of finances. I disagree. It's because you fucking have a mindset of failures. Why you, I wish I was more eloquent about it, perhaps, but something I had to tell you.
Damn straight, yeah.
Like, this is the fucking truth, man.
Dude,
I wish I could say like this really nice, elegant way of your mindset is this, and it's like I'm not a mindset coach. I'm not a fucking mindset coach. I'm just telling you, get your fucking shit together and be a winner, dude.
I mean, you don't go from having everything, losing it, going right back into the same damn thing and getting it all back again without having that kind of mindset.
At a much bigger level, and part of it's because in the game it beat me. Yeah, think about it. In the game, it knocked me out. Yeah. But fuck it, dude. I have another rematch. I will take you back on again. I'm not afraid of you. Go by that fear thing of like, my dad did the same thing. Just so funny. Just pegging me with baseballs in Little League. Just rapid fire, just rapid fire. But again, if you go back and look at my career, it's like I built something to the point of like, I conquered it. I won. Yeah. And once I get that point, it's like, okay, I can move on. When in real estate, I was winning the game, and then got knocked out. I went right back to that game. I didn't go to the fucking other game. I went right back to that game right there because I had to. I can't move on until I beat that game to where I felt like, okay, I beat that game. I'm good. Because my record is whatever it is, 38-0 as far as losing. You know what I mean? Like there's no losses. I might have taken some beatings, but sure. I didn't lose. Does that make sense? Like, I love it. Didn't fucking lose, man. And I think it just goes back to that mindset of how you view it,
Yeah. Well, brother, I cannot thank you enough for coming on the podcast today, man. So good to, talk to you and hear your story. And I know everyone here listening to you, and make sure you go follow this guy. Cause this guy, not only is just awesome, like understand this and like learn this, but there's some really cool things coming that, I was blessed to hear today that you will see coming, and he'll be announcing soon, that every entrepreneur out there needs to hear what this man has to say, especially with things he has launching. So go make sure you follow this guy, Andrew Cordle, on Instagram. We'll link all this in the video, and also check out his website, www.andrewcordle.com. Again, we'll link everything. Andrew, is there anything you'd like to leave us with?
Be a fucking winner, dude.
Love it. Thanks for coming on, brother.
Appreciate it, bro.
Thanks, man.